Welcome to the administrative section of the Six Star Loft. I want to share something that I think is very important and critical. This is the library of the Six Star Loft. Some of the things we possess in our library is number one is modern ebooks on pigeon information. As you know, we also are sellers of information on the Pigeon Academy. So I'm going to be endorsing some products here that I believe in and that I personally own for myself. These are books that you can, and information that you can use for all breeds of pigeon, racing pigeon. This is basically racing pigeon information, but you can use this information for all types of birds. For an example, I want to go to one of the ebooks that I got spotted here. This is the ebook on health. You know, I'm in my home, so if you hear bells and whistles going off, my kids going off, again, I'm not in a studio. This is not professionally done. This is an amateur video, but this is the health blueprint. We sell this book. It's critical to have books like this in your library. I do a lot of reading myself. That's one of my strengths is I read. This is the table of contents. It's got baths, food dispensers, preventive medication, how to treat worms, canker, coccidioids. You know, these are the things that I personally be studying on to make sure that I got the right information. Not hearsay, not gossip. But first we got to get the right information, the factual information. Then you start reaching out and start hearing, you know, guys use their personal, what they use for their personal and what they like best. But I always say you got to get the orthodox information. Then you start moving into, you know, guys' personal preference and stuff like that. But you got to have the knowledge on how to treat cancer and vaccinations and probiotics and information on brewer's yeast, you know, classifying injuries, you know, classes of injuries. And this is one of the books that I got in my library, and I found this book to be awesome reading material, talking about feather quality. You know, one of the things that I'm always talking about, there it is right there in chapter number 20, which is biosecurity. You know, are you keeping your biosecurity? I gotta make sure my zoom is right. Are you keeping your biosecurity high, which is dealing with birds coming in, birds going out? How you deal with them? What system you use to clean them up? When you're going to sell birds, do you use a biosecurity system to, you know, put the birds through before you take them out to the local pet shop and sell them? Do you put them through, or you just take them? You know, like if I'm going to give, you know, push a bird to the local pet shop, I'll make sure he goes through a week of biosecurity, because when you're going to get a bird from the Six Star Loft, you're not going to get a bird with canker. You're not going to get a bird with mites. You know, you're not going to get a bird with worms. I'm going to give them a good treatment. And I always say this, if more of us handled our business that way, we wouldn't have all of these diseases. Guys dropping birds off in local pet shops. They're sick. They got diseases, you know. And this is one of the books that I have in my library. Here's another book that I think is critical to have. 8 common most diseases. Here it is right there. And again, we have all these books. We have access to these books. This is critical for, if you're going to own pigeons, man, you got to know all the diseases. You got to know your preventive measures. Canker, I think it's cocoa, worms, you know, the spinning disease and PMV. There it is there. You know, how pictorials, how to identify it. You know, I hate to say this, but I see a lot of guys, they put sick birds up online, you know, and they be like, what is this? And I'm like, dude, you got to know. You know, if you don't know, I'm gonna be like, you know, get rid of the bird. Don't be handling birds with your bare hands when they're sick either, because you know, most of us are family men. We got wife and kids. You know, Paramesos virus, PMV, big bird killer right here. You know, and you gotta know how to treat it. What's the symptoms? Weight loss, watery green slimy droppings, twisting of neck and head. You know, these are the things. Canker. How you identify canker? There it is right there. One of the famous bird killers right there. Get birds sick. How birds get canker? Dirty water, feed with bird droppings in it. Look at this. You gotta be able to identify all these things. And a lot of this stuff is very inexpensive. We do carry these things on our site on Pigeon Academy. I get a lot of likes, but I want guys to start reaching out. I want guys to increase their knowledge and increase their library. This is a very good product. It's a very good book. You know, the eight common diseases, and you know, not just diseases, but like I did my own personal book, Sticking Pigeons. There it is here, Sticking Pigeons. You know, I gave this book away to some young kids about a couple of weeks ago, and their parents went crazy. They were like, "Oh man, it's really helped us." You know, the kids are they got young kids. They're into pigeons. Their parents not into pigeons, but they were able to go in and keep more of their birds. Again, this is not I'm not a professional. So you're going to be getting things jumping off. This is a book that I created. You see my computer is jumping. Just please be patient with me. But this is a book that I created, Sticking Pigeons. Full training. You know, as you get into education, you find yourself starting to be an educator. You know, because the knowledge is motivating. You know, it's inspiring. You know how to deal with these birds. You know, this is one of my books that I have, and it's available too on Pigeon Academy, Sticking Pigeons. You know, I don't want to take up too much of the time with this video, but it has a lot of different things, and here's my library of all the videos that I make. You know, using my old school knowledge that I've had 30 years ago and updating it with all this new information. This is the age of technology. This is the age of information. I was shocked to see all of this stuff that was available when I came back into the pigeon game a year ago, and I was dumbfounded. I was like, wow, look at this. And the first thing I did was I started reading. Before I even bought a bird, I started reading, and I started studying. And one thing about reading is you can read a book and you can finish it in a week, and you go back and you read that book a year from now, you're gonna say, man, I didn't see that before, because there's jewels just laying in the books. And as you expand your mind, when you go back and read the book again, you'll be like, oh man, you got a deeper understanding of things. And I'm heavy on reading. The thing that I did a couple of weeks ago with getting the kids, I told the parents, I want the kids to read. You know, I want the kids to read. You know, we as adults, we're supposed to be reading on college level. You got to be reading all this information. Here's another book that I did on stock banging. You know, this is a book that inspired me, that I personally wrote, and it's about how to survive in the pigeon wars game. And it is based on my experience here in New York and banging with all these stocks. You know, I'm a homer guy, but I get excited when I see two guys going at it, and one guy dropping another guy's birds, and he's dominating. Those are part of the game. Those things are exciting. You know, we got all these books. You know, young bird recording. You know, training session templates. You know, how to get your birds and how to create. You know, training session. Which birds was there? Which birds got lost? You think these guys, here's my other thing. You think these guys, again, I'm in my house. Come on through. Just keep it down. You think these guys that have these big lofts don't have a system? You think these guys that win these big races and dominate in the one loft racing, you think they don't have a system? Of course they do. They got libraries too. I'm not saying I'm a big dog like that. but I ain't stupid. You know, that's why it says a wise man will hear a word and add on to it. Fools hate wisdom and instruction. Again, if you saying I got it all, I already know it, there's only one direction for you, man, and that's backwards. Because you got to be learning all the time. You got to be increasing your knowledge. If you want to get into breeding, you got to have knowledge on breeding. If you want to get into racing, you have to have knowledge on racing. You can't go in blind because you're going to get took. Showbirds, you want to have knowledge on that. You know, health. So this is one of the things that I'm showing today. I'm showing my library. This is not me bragging. This is also me sharing. And this is also me endorsing our products at the Pigeon Academy. I hope some of you go on and further your education as fanciers, because the better you are as an educated fancier, the better it is for everyone else. We'll have less diseases. We'll have less complaints. The breeding program shows you how to breed better birds and how to keep the bloodlines pure, from the inbreeding to the line breeding. You know, these are things that you want to have under your belt as a fancier, how to breed and keep your lines pure. You know, if you're into cap tiplets, Canadians, you need information on how to keep those bloodlines pure and things like that. And you got to go out and you got to educate yourself. And this is my message this evening. I didn't want to take up too much of your time. Thank you guys and gals for listening and following me on my site, which is the Pigeon Academy, and also on 6 Stall Off. I'm having a great time making these videos, and I'm gonna continue to do that because this is my hobby and it's what I love to do. 6 Stall Off.